You could never impress a woman like me." The line cracked across the restaurant like breaking glass, and though the echo faded, something in the air promised she'd regret every syllable. It was a Thursday night in Manhattan, the kind that made the city look expensive even in the rain. Outside, yellow cabs dragged rivers of light through Soho. Inside, the dining room glowed with brass and velvet, the kind of place that turned noise into ambiance. Jazz murmured low, knives whispered against porcelain, and the scent of truffle oil clung to everything. Emma sat in the center of it all, white silk dress, high ponytail sharp as punctuation, an aura that demanded attention. Her phone stood upright by her martini glass, live stream running, little hearts and comments pulsing up the screen. Two friends flanked her, laughing like they'd paid for the soundtrack. Across from the host stand stood Franklin, a black man in his mid-30s, shoulders straight, expression calm. A folded coat rested over his arm, the fabric soft, understated, no logos, no watch flashing for validation. Just quiet presence, and in a room addicted to noise, that made him invisible, or it should have. Emma saw him waiting by the podium and smiled, the kind of smile that cut both ways. "Excuse me," she called, loud enough for her followers to hear. "Do we need to start letting anyone in here now?" The hostess froze. "Ma'am, he—" No, I've got this," Emma said, eyes still on Franklin. "Sweetheart, this isn't a cafe. There's a dress code." She gestured at him with a manicured finger. "You can't just walk in here wearing whatever that is." Franklin looked at her for a long second. He didn't flinch, didn't look away. "I have a reservation," he said quietly. Emma's friends giggled. "Ooh, he talks," one whispered. "I'm sure you do, darling," Emma replied, voice smooth as chilled gin. "But reservations don't buy class. You could never impress a woman like me." The words hit harder the second time, because now the whole restaurant had heard. The couple at table 12 stopped mid-toast. A busser froze, tray trembling. Even the jazz seemed to pause between notes. The hostess tried again. "He's on the list, Ms. Dawes, just waiting for the table to clear." Emma waved her off. "Oh, please, I'm giving him free advice. Someone has to." She tilted her phone slightly toward Franklin. The comments were rolling fast. "Drag him, queen. What is he even wearing? Dead." Emma's smile widened. "You see, Franklin, can I call you that? Women like me appreciate presentation, effort, standards." He studied her, expression unreadable. "And men like me appreciate respect."
Her brows lifted. "Oh, you've got attitude. Adorable." She turned to her followers. "Ladies, take notes. When you reach a certain level, you have to stop pretending every man deserves your time." Franklin exhaled slowly. He looked toward the hostess. "Take your time," he said softly. "I'll wait." But waiting wasn't part of Emma's script. "You can't be serious," she said, half to her friends, half to her audience. "He's really just standing there, like this is a bus stop." She motioned toward the bar. "See those men? That's confidence. That's taste. Well, you're trying, and that's sweet." Quinn, the bartender, caught Franklin's eye. A silent apology passed between them. He'd seen this dance before. The phone's chat feed glowed brighter. "Humble him," one wrote. "This is content." Emma licked her lips, feeding on the validation. "Tell you what," she said, voice lilting with mischief. "Impress me. One thing. Compliment me. Surprise me. Something worth remembering. And maybe I'll buy your drink." Franklin didn't move. "I didn't ask you to." "See," she said to her viewers, "no initiative. You can't teach charisma." The laugh that followed was hollow and perfect. The kind of sound made for rooms like this, the kind that left bruises. Franklin's eyes lowered for a heartbeat, then rose again, steady. He wasn't angry. That made it worse. Some things, he said quietly, aren't meant to impress you. That landed differently. The table of suits nearby stopped talking. A waiter paused mid-step. Emma's friends exchanged glances. The phone kept streaming, but her smile faltered for half a second before returning, tighter now. "Oh, that's cute," she said, lifting her martini. "Mystery man energy. Unfortunately, it doesn't match the outfit." The olive clinked against the glass. Franklin didn't respond. He simply waited, patient, still, the eye of the storm she was building. Somewhere in the kitchen, a pan hissed. Outside, thunder muttered over Soho. The air grew thick with unspoken sides, those who'd laugh, those who'd look away. And though no one said it aloud, everyone felt it. Something in this room had shifted. Something that would not be forgiven easily.
For a few seconds, no one speaks. The jazz has turned into polite silence. Only the low hum of Emma's phone camera fills the space, a small glowing eye catching every twitch and breath. Then her friend, Tessa, laughs, high and brittle. "Oh, come on, Emma, he's not that bad. Maybe he just got lost on his way to a sneaker drop." The second friend, blonde and eager to belong, adds, "Yeah, Franklin, right? Don't look so serious, it's just fun." Fun. That's what it was to them. Cruelty, dressed in sequins. Emma crosses one leg over the other, leaning back. "Relax, girls. I'm educating. It's like community service." She turns to the hostess again. "Honey, you really should enforce a dress code. If I start tagging this place in my stories, people will think it's casual." The hostess swallows. "Miss Dawes, please—" "Emma," she corrects sharply. "It's Emma online. My followers like first names. It's intimate." She flashes a quick smile at the phone. "Isn't it, chat?" The chat explodes in emojis. Hearts, laughing faces, knives. Someone types, "Who's the guy? Make him apologize." Another, "Betty's a busboy trying to sneak in, LOL." Franklin hears it all. The faint echo of their laughter is worse than volume. It's casual, comfortable, like this kind of thing happens every day. He stands still, one hand on his coat, eyes lowered slightly but not broken. Quinn, the bartender, looks over from his station. His jaw is tight. He doesn't speak, not yet, but his silence is starting to feel like disobedience. At the next table, a man in a navy blazer murmurs to his date, "I'd walk out if I were him." The woman replies softly, "You wouldn't. You'd smile and take it, because this city eats dignity before dessert." Emma shifts her chair an inch closer to her phone, ensuring her reflection and Franklin's shape share the same frame. "All right," she says brightly, "let's make this interactive. I'll read the comments." Her eyes skim the scrolling text. "Okay, this one says, 'Ask him what he does for a living.' Oh, that's good. What do you do, Franklin?" He glances at her, voice low. "Work." The audience laughs, in the restaurant, online, maybe even in the kitchen. Emma grins. "Work? That's adorable. Everyone works. What kind of work?" When he doesn't answer, she leans forward, lowering her voice like she's teasing a child. "Come on, don't be shy. I'm trying to give you a platform." He says nothing. The pause stretches. The air grows heavy again. One of the servers, a young woman with tired eyes, approaches quietly. "Can I get you anything while you wait, sir?" Emma's head snaps up. "Excuse me, I'm talking to him." The server hesitates. "He's a guest, ma'am." "That's subjective," Emma replies, sipping her drink. The martini glass tilts, the olive bumping the rim. "But sure, sweetheart, get him water. Tap's fine." Franklin shakes his head. "I'm all right, thank you." His tone is polite, measured, and that civility only feeds her fury. Emma laughs again, a sound that tries to hide how rattled she's becoming. Do you know what's funny, Franklin? You're standing there like you think you're better than this, but look around you. Everyone here is watching because I let them. The chat lights up. Queen behavior. He's frozen. This is art. Someone else types, she's being cruel. The comment is gone within seconds, buried beneath waves of laughing emojis. But Franklin sees it. His gaze flicks toward the screen for half a heartbeat, then he looks back at her and for the first time, smiles. It's not warm, it's not sarcastic. It's something quieter, a knowing smile, the kind that unnerves people who believe they hold all the cards. Emma feels it. Her laugh falters. "Oh, you think this is funny?" "No," he says. "Predictable." The word lands like a dropped glass. Even the rain outside seems to hush. For a moment her eyes flash, not embarrassment yet, but confusion, the kind that comes when a script starts slipping away. She glances at her phone again, searching for validation, for the stream to back her up. They do. They always do. Tessa fans herself with a napkin. "God, this is awkward," she whispers, but not quietly enough. Emma straightens. "Predictable, huh? You mean women with standards? People with taste?" She leans in, voice low but sharp. "Do you have any idea who I am?" Franklin nods once. "I do." "Oh?" She smirks. "Go on." He just looks at her. The silence burns hotter than words. The hostess approaches again, nerves tightening her smile. "Mr. Franklin, your table's ready. If you'd like to follow me—" "Finally," Emma says, half laughing, half spitting. "He can sit by the kitchen. Perfect." The hostess's face drains. "Actually, it's table 7, the corner booth." Emma's jaw flickers. "That's my usual booth." "Yes, ma'am," the hostess says softly, "but it's reserved tonight." The sound of silverware pausing is nearly musical. Every head turns, subtle but synchronized. Even the suits stop pretending to talk about business. Emma blinks. "Reserved? For him?" The hostess doesn't answer. She simply gestures toward the table and waits. Franklin doesn't move yet. He studies Emma for a moment longer, then says gently, "After you're done performing, you should try the ribeye. It's excellent." He steps past her, calm, controlled. The fabric of his coat brushes her chair as he moves, and it feels like a curtain falling between scenes. Emma stares after him, the camera still rolling. The chat is exploding, a chaotic flood of hearts, question marks, and laughing emojis. Her own reflection on the screen looks pale and unsettled. Tessa leans closer. "What just happened?" Emma swallows, then forces a brittle smile. "Nothing, just another Thursday." But behind her, the bartender is whispering to the hostess. The manager appears at the bar. Phones come out. Someone in the back murmurs, "I swear that's him, the guy from the Forbes list." The words don't reach her yet. Not clearly. Not yet. Outside, thunder growls again. Inside, the performance is still going on, but the audience has started to change sides. The dining room keeps buzzing after Franklin walks past Emma. The kind of low, uncertain hum that comes when people aren't sure whether to clap or look away. He follows the hostess, coat folded neatly over his arm, steps even, posture unshaken. The quiet dignity of someone who's learned that control is its own kind of armor. When he sits, the noise slowly returns, forks, chatter, music trying to pretend nothing happened. Emma's phone is still recording, though the mood has soured. The comments now flicker between mockery and doubt. Who is he? He handled that better than she did. She's acting pressed. She scrolls, jaw tightening. Across the room, Franklin adjusts his napkin, gestures to the waiter. "Sparkling water, please," he says. His voice is calm, round-edged, but it carries. People nearby hear it and turn instinctively, like the sound of something steady in a shaky room. He doesn't check his phone, doesn't look back. He takes in the space, the brass reflections, the chandelier's gold hum, the neat geometry of wine glasses, and for a moment his gaze softens. He's been here before, years ago, only not as a guest. Back then, he wore a black apron and bruised knuckles from polishing glassware until dawn. He remembered the sting of bleach on his hands, the way the manager never said his name right. Back then, he learned how power behaves when it thinks it's unobserved. That's why he never reacts now, because he knows what rooms like this are built from.
He folds his hands, thumbs brushing against each other. Beneath his shirt cuff, the edge of a tattoo peeks out. A small compass, faint, worn. It's older than the watch beside it. The kind of ink that carries years, not trends. The waiter pours his drink. "Anything else, sir?" "Not yet. I'm expecting someone," Franklin says. "Of course." The waiter glances discreetly toward Emma's table, where tension now hangs like perfume. "If there's anything you need, let me know." Franklin nods, but his eyes have already drifted, not to Emma, but to the front window, where rain races down the glass. He likes rain. It evens things out. You can't tell which coats are designer when they're all soaked. At Emma's table, her friends whisper. Tessa leans closer. "You okay? You're kind of trending." Emma forces a laugh. "Please, he's a nobody. The internet forgets in a day." But she can't stop glancing toward him. The man who didn't fight back, didn't fold, didn't even look embarrassed. The lack of reaction eats at her more than any insult could have. Her stream chat keeps rolling. "He handled that classy. She's losing it. Who's the fool now?" She swipes the screen dark. The silence that follows feels heavier than the noise before it. Meanwhile, Franklin signals Quinn. The bartender walks over, towel on his shoulder. "You handled that well," he mutters. Franklin offers a faint smile. "Didn't feel like handling. Just waiting."
Quinn studies him. "You didn't look surprised." "I wasn't." He takes a sip of his water. "People like her always think they're the main event." Quinn chuckles under his breath. "You know her?" "Only by type." A pause. "Mind if I ask?" Quinn lowers his voice. "Why didn't you just shut her down? You could have. Easy." Franklin turns the glass slowly between his fingers, watching the water catch the light. "Because you don't teach respect by arguing. You let time do it for you." There's no bitterness in his tone, only patience. The patience of a man who's already outlasted worse. Quinn nods once, understanding something unspoken. He walks away, leaving Franklin alone with his calm. The minutes pass. He checks his watch, not nervously, but out of habit. The person he's waiting for is late. A partner? A friend? Maybe a business associate? No one knows yet. The rain keeps talking against the window, steady, rhythmic. Across the restaurant, Emma's laughter has dulled. She's refreshing her notifications, pretending she isn't. Franklin leans back, breathing slowly. His reflection in the mirror behind the bar looks like another version of him, younger, weary, apron-clad. He can almost hear his old manager's voice, "Smile more. Don't make the guests uncomfortable." He remembers thinking, "One day I'll own a place like this. Not to prove anything, just to build something that doesn't feel like this." That's how it started. The catering jobs, the weekend side hustles, the late nights learning investments instead of sleeping. One small success, then another. By the time he turned 30, he wasn't bussing tables anymore. He was buying them. He never changed his posture, though. Never spoke louder just to be heard. Quiet was his signature. The silence before success. Now he sits in it like an old friend. "Excuse me, sir." The hostess returns, voice softer this time, respectful. "Your guest is running a few minutes late, but your table is all set. Would you like a menu while you wait? Yes, thank you. He glances up, smiles gently. And don't let that woman ruin your night. Her relief is genuine. You heard that? Hard not to, he says. But it wasn't about me. She tilts her head. No? No, Franklin says, sipping again. It was about her needing to be seen. I just happened to be in the frame. The hostess smiles, a small, tired smile that people in the service world share when they recognize each other's endurance. For what it's worth, she says, you impressed plenty of people tonight. He chuckles. I wasn't trying to. That's probably why. She walks away, and Franklin sits back again, alone at the corner booth, the seat Emma called hers. He glances once more toward her table. Her friends are whispering. Her phone screen glows, but she's no longer smiling into it. The restaurant moves on, but not completely. The energy is changed, and everyone feels it. The invisible hierarchy of the room has tilted, just slightly, just enough to make people notice the cracks. Franklin takes out his phone finally. The screen lights his face. One message sits at the top. Running late. 10 minutes. Sorry, boss. E. He types back, take your time. The show started early. When he sets the phone down, his reflection catches in the table's surface. Calm eyes, steady jaw, the faint smile of someone who doesn't need to prove what everyone else is trying to prove. Outside, thunder folds itself into the skyline. Inside, Emma stares into her half-empty glass, pretending to scroll, pretending she isn't still thinking about him. And Franklin waits. For his guest. For the next move. For the moment the world catches up to who he really is.
Emma can't stand silence, especially the kind that doesn't orbit her. She watches Franklin from across the room, her jaw tight, her smile stretched too wide. The energy she once owned has turned on her, whispering in corners. The waiters move differently now, cautious but not deferential. The chat on her stream has slowed, like blood cooling. The phone lies face down beside her drink, the camera still running but no longer aimed her way. Tessa leans in. Maybe stop filming, she murmurs. It's starting to look... Like what? Emma snaps too quickly. Like he's winning? Tessa's eyes dart away. Like you're bullying him. Emma laughs, sharp and hollow. Please, he's fine. Look at him. He's sitting there like a CEI in a hoodie. She lifts her glass. He should thank me for the exposure. But even as she says it, her gaze flickers toward him again. Franklin hasn't looked back once. He's calm, quiet, ordering nothing more than water. The restraint infuriates her. It's like arguing with a wall that won't echo. The restaurant's manager, a compact man with a forced smile, approaches. Ms. Dawes, he says softly, I'd like to ask that you refrain from filming other guests without their consent. Her head jerks up. Excuse me? It's our policy, he continues, voice polite but firm. Some patrons value their privacy. Emma's lips part, scandalized. Do you have any idea who I am? Yes, he says. That's why I'm asking.
Her friends go still. The whole table seems to shrink an inch. Around them, people pretend not to watch, but can't quite manage it. Quinn polishes another glass that doesn't need polishing. Emma forces a laugh. This is ridiculous. He's the one who started it. The manager blinks, confused. By standing? She glares. By existing rudely. A ripple of uncomfortable laughter moves through nearby cables. Someone coughs to hide a smile. Even the hostess, passing with menus, hides her face behind them. Emma feels it, the tremor of control slipping through her manicured fingers. Ma'am, the manager says gently, please put the phone away. Her eyes dart toward Franklin again. He's looking down at his glass, turning it slowly, the fainted smile touching his lips. Not mockery, worse, pity. "Fine," she says tightly, grabbing her phone and killing the stream. "Happy?" "Yes," the manager says, relief visible. "Thank you." When he leaves, Tessa exhales. That could have gone worse. Emma drains her drink. Not done yet. Across the room, Franklin's guest still hasn't arrived. He checks his watch, then looks toward the door. Outside, the rain has thickened to a curtain of silver. Inside, warmth hums against the cold glass. A waiter passes by and quietly slips a menu on his table. "Chef said this one's on the house," he says. "Appreciation for your patience." Franklin raises an eyebrow. "That necessary?" The waiter shakes his head. "Deserved." Franklin nods, a ghost of a smile. "Tell him thank you."
From her table, Emma watches the exchange. "Did he just get a free meal?" she mutters. Tessa shrugs. "You kinda made him famous." The words sting more than she expects. Emma's tongue sharpens in self-defense. "He's milking it. Look at him, sitting like he owns the place." "He's not doing anything." "Exactly," she hisses. "That's the trick." She rises from her seat. "I'm going to fix this." "Emma, don't—" But she's already moving. The heels click like warning shots as she crosses the floor. Conversations falter. Forks pause mid-air. The hostess stiffens near the podium. Franklin looks up when her shadow crosses his table. He doesn't frown, doesn't flinch, just waits. Emma stops beside him, forcing a smile. "Thought I'd check in, make sure you're not traumatized or anything." "Appreciate the concern," he says. "Look," she says, lowering her voice but keeping it loud enough for nearby tables. "About earlier, I was just being playful. You took it too seriously." "I didn't take it at all." Her smile cracks. "Cute. Really, you've got jokes now." He sets the glass down. "No jokes, just dinner." "Right," she says. "Dinner at my restaurant." "Yours?" His brows lift slightly. "I mean," she falters, "I'm a regular. They know me here." He glances at the waiter who brought him the menu. The man is watching discreetly, expression unreadable. Franklin turns back. "Then you should treat their guests better." "Don't lecture me," she says, voice tightening. "You're lucky I didn't have security escort you out when you first walked in." Franklin studies her, calm and measured. "You could have tried." The simplicity of the reply rattles her. It's not defiance, it's truth. Something in her expression flickers, a flash of uncertainty, quickly masked. "I'm just saying," she continues, flustered now, "you don't belong in places like this unless you know how to act." "Maybe that's true," he says quietly. "But I've found that how you treat people says more than how you dress for them." The line lands, clean, honest, the sort of thing no one can clap for without taking sides. Still, a quiet murmur of approval ripples through the tables nearby. Emma feels heat crawl up her neck. "You're lecturing me? In public?" He shakes his head. "I'm eating dinner." Her jaw clenches. She glances around and realizes everyone is watching. Again. But now the laughter is gone. The power has shifted, subtly, almost imperceptibly, but it's no longer hers. "Enjoy your charity steak," she mutters, turning sharply. The heel of her shoe slips slightly on the tile, an almost silent stutter that feels louder than thunder. As she walks away, whispers trail behind her. "That was unnecessary," someone says. "Poor guy," another murmurs. "Actually, he handled her better than anyone could." By the time Emma reaches her table, her friends are avoiding her eyes. The live stream screen is black. The phone feels heavy in her hand, useless now that it isn't worshiping her reflection. Tessa says softly, "You should just let it go." Emma stares into her empty glass. "No," she whispers, "not yet." Because something in her can't stand to lose, not to him, not in front of a crowd, and definitely not to someone who refused to play her game. She opens her phone, thumbs trembling slightly, and types a post. Some people mistake confidence for disrespect. Know your worth, ladies. She hits upload before she can think. Across the room, Franklin's phone buzzes once. He ignores it.
The waiter returns, laying down a single plate, a perfectly seared ribeye, glistening under the dim light. "Compliments of the kitchen," the waiter says again. Franklin smiles, finally. "Tell the chef I'm impressed." The waiter nods, but as he walks away, he glances nervously toward the bar, where the manager is speaking quietly into his phone. A few heads turn toward Emma's table. Someone is whispering her name, checking something on their screen. The storm outside sharpens its teeth against the glass. Emma doesn't know it yet, but the tide has started to turn, not in noise, in whispers.
The storm outside has become a roar. Rain hammers the glass. Thunder rolls through Soho like a heartbeat. Inside, the air is heavy, charged, metallic, waiting. Every conversation feels half swallowed, as if the restaurant itself knows something is about to happen. Emma can't stand it anymore. Franklin is still there, still calm, still refusing to acknowledge her existence. He eats quietly, cutting his steak with a precision that feels deliberate, elegant, surgical. Every movement, every sip of water, every pause between bites, it all feels like defiance dressed as composure. Her friends are trying to distract her. "Emma," Tessa whispers, "please just drop it. Everyone's already forgotten." But Emma hasn't. The humiliation burns under her skin like fever. The viral post she just uploaded is catching fire online, likes and comments flooding in. Some cheer her, but others are siding with him. Screenshots, clips, the restaurant's name tagged again and again. Arrogant influencer mocks stranger. It's already trending. She refreshes. Then again. Her reflection in the phone's dark screen looks brittle, scared, but she don't recognize it. She lifts her chin. "No one humiliates me in public," she mutters. Tessa sighs. "Emma?" But she's already rising. The sound of her heels cuts through the music as she crosses the room again. Franklin doesn't look up this time. He just keeps eating. That quiet composure, that unbearable stillness is worse than mockery. "Excuse me," Emma says, standing over his table. "I think you owe me an apology." A pause. He looks up, fork midair. "For what?" "For embarrassing me. For speaking to me like I'm the villain here." He blinks once, slowly. "You approached me. You provoked me. I stood by the door." She laughs, sharp, disbelieving. "Oh, you're clever now. You think you're better than me?" "No," Franklin says quietly. "I just don't think about you that much." The line lands like a slap. A few people snort before they can stop themselves. The sound cuts through her composure like glass through silk. Emma's cheeks flush. "You," she stammers, then lowers her voice, icy. "You think, because you can sit here quietly, that makes you right? You don't belong here. You're not one of us." The room goes dead still. The sentence hovers in the air, ugly and raw. Even she seems startled by her own words. Quinn's towel stops mid-polish. The hostess stiffens near the podium. The couple in the corner exchange a look of disgust. Franklin sets his fork down gently. He doesn't raise his voice. "Say that again?" Her throat tightens. "You heard me." He studies her for a long, unbearable moment. His eyes are calm, but there's something in them. Not rage, not hurt, something deeper. Recognition. "I've heard worse," he says finally. He stands, not abruptly, just enough to make her step back. He's taller than she expected, solid, unmoved. "I don't know what you're trying to prove," he continues, voice low but steady. "But if it's superiority, you're going about it the wrong way. Respect isn't something you can demand from people. You earn it." "I don't need lessons from—" She stops herself, the rest of the sentence dying before it can become unforgivable. But the silence says what she didn't. At the bar, someone mutters, "Enough." The manager hurries over. "Ms. Dawes," he says firmly, "this is your last warning. If you continue disturbing our guests, we'll have to ask you to leave." Her voice jumps an octave. "Me? You're kicking me out?" "Ma'am," he says quietly, "you're making a scene." She points toward Franklin. "He's the one. He's manipulating everyone, making me look—" Franklin interrupts gently. "I'm just trying to finish dinner." "Shut up," she snaps. That's when the phones come out, dozens of them, screens glowing like tiny judgmental moons. The moment is captured from every angle. Emma, standing, trembling, red-faced. Franklin, calm, composed. The manager, pleading in hushed tones. One woman whispers, "This is going viral right now." Another adds, "It already is." Emma realizes it too late. The fear hits like vertigo. "Stop filming!" she shouts. "Turn those off!" But no one listens. The power she once owned, the gaze she weaponized, now belongs to them. "Please," the manager says again, "let's end this." "Fine," she spits, "but I'm not leaving until he does." Franklin sighs. "I've had worse meals." He picks up his napkin, folds it neatly beside his plate, and steps away from the booth. He doesn't look at her as he passes. She mistakes that for retreat. "Yeah, walk away," she sneers. "That's right. Go back to wherever—" The thunder interrupts her. A flash of light, a crack that shakes the windows. And then the door opens. A man in a dark suit enters, shaking off rain. Tall, sharp, confident. The hostess rushes forward, whispering, gesturing toward Franklin. "Mr. Hayes," she says breathlessly, "your table's ready." Emma freezes. Franklin turns slightly toward the newcomer. "You're late." "Traffic," the man says, smiling. "These storms are murder." "Don't worry," Franklin says. "I found a way to pass the time." The hostess looks from one to the other, wide-eyed. "Would you like the wine list, Mr. Hayes?" Emma blinks. "Mr. what?" The hostess repeats it clearly. "Mr. Franklin Hayes." The name hits like thunder inside her skull. She knows it. Everyone knows it. It's the name she's seen on headlines, in glossy magazines. Forbes 30 under 30, the quiet visionary behind Hayes Capital. The man she's been mocking all night? Her throat goes dry. "Wait, you're—" Franklin glances at her for the first time in minutes. "Yes," he says simply. "I am." Then he gestures to the manager. "Please make sure Miss Dawes's tab is covered." Emma blinks, confused. "You're paying?" "No," Franklin says, voice smooth as glass. "I'm buying the restaurant." The manager stares. "Sir?" Franklin's companion, his lawyer perhaps, hands him a folder. "The paperwork was finalized this morning," the man says. "He's the majority shareholder now." A stunned silence drops over the room. Emma's mouth opens but no sound comes out. Around her, people lower their phones, not from pity, but reverence. The power dynamic shifts so hard it leaves the air trembling. Franklin turns back to her, calm, unhurried. "You were right, Emma," he says softly. "You could never be impressed by a man like me." He smiles faintly, "But fortunately, I stopped trying a long time ago." He takes his seat again, his guest joining him. The waiter pours their wine, hands shaking slightly. Emma stands frozen, the sound of rain and whispers closing in around her, and for the first time all night, she feels what she's made others feel. Small.
The rain outside refuses to stop. It's not just weather now, it's percussion. A steady, merciless rhythm pounding against the glass, against nerves, against denial. Inside, the restaurant hums with low electricity, the kind that comes after revelation, after something irreversible. Emma is still standing near Franklin's table, trembling. The air around her feels different now, heavier, colder. Her phone is still in her hand, forgotten, camera frozen on her own stunned face. A few of her followers are still in the stream, watching everything unfold in real time. Comments flash up like fireworks. "Wait, is that Franklin Hayes? Oh my God, the investor guy? She just humiliated a billionaire on camera. She's done. This is karma in 4K. She blinks at the screen. The chat keeps scrolling, too fast to read, too cruel to control. She ends the stream with a trembling thumb, but it's too late. The internet already has the footage, and the internet never sleeps. At the bar, Quinn exhales like he's been holding his breath all night. "Well," he mutters, "guess we just witnessed a career suicide." The hostess nods, eyes wide. "You think he'll really buy the place?" "He doesn't have to," Quinn says. "He already owns the night." Across the room, Franklin sits again, posture loose now, relaxed. The tension in his shoulders has finally melted. He talks quietly with his guest, the man in the dark suit, as if nothing extraordinary has happened. They're laughing softly, talking about business, about expansion, about timing. The details drift like incense: mergers, property portfolio, new branches. Words that sound like power, spoken softly enough to seem effortless. The staff move differently now, alert but reverent. Plates are replaced, glasses refilled without prompting. Even the manager looks smaller beside the booth.
Emma tries to collect herself. She smooths her dress, lifts her chin, forces a smile. "This is ridiculous," she mutters, half to Tessa, half to the void. "He's nobody, just because he has money." Tessa interrupts, voice low. "Emma, stop." "What?" Her friend leans closer, whispering urgently. "You don't get it. He's everywhere. He owns half the buildings downtown. My brother's firm pitched at his company last year. They said he doesn't talk much, but when he does, everyone listens." Emma's face goes pale. No, this isn't real," Tessa finishes softly. "Check your phone." Emma hesitates, then unlocks it. Notifications explode across her screen. Texts, DMs, pings, mentions. News outlets already reposting the clip, her own followers turning on her. Unsubscribed. "Wow, you mocked Franklin Hayes? Girl, you're finished. Hope the steak was worth it." Her mouth goes dry. "This isn't fair," she whispers. "He set me up." But even she doesn't believe that. Across the room, Franklin glances her way. Not with anger, not triumph, just calm observation, the kind that feels worse than judgment. She can't tell if he's thinking about her at all or if she's already become irrelevant. The manager approaches him quietly. "Mr. Hayes, I didn't realize." Franklin lifts a hand. "It's fine. You did your job." The man exhales, relief flooding his face. "We're honored to have you, sir. If there's anything—" "Treat everyone the same," Franklin says. "That'll be enough." "Yes, sir." He turns back to his guest, discussion resuming effortlessly, like the confrontation never happened. It's that ease that unsettles Emma most. How someone can dismantle her whole performance without even raising his voice. Her phone buzzes again. Her agent this time. "Call me now. Urgent." She ignores it. Her throat feels dry. Her pulse too loud.
She wants to leave, but she can't. Not while people are still watching. Not while he's sitting there, serene and untouchable, the quiet gravity around which the whole room now orbits. Tessa whispers, "Let's go, Em." Emma shakes her head. "If I leave, it looks like I'm running." "Emma, everyone already knows." "No." The word bursts out too loud, too raw. Conversations stop. Heads turn again. Her voice falters. No. I'm fine." Franklin looks up, finally. His gaze meets hers across the room. There's no malice in it, no satisfaction, just something unreadable. Empathy, maybe. Pity, definitely. That makes it worse. She looks away first. Her friends rise, murmuring excuses. "We'll call you tomorrow," Tessa says gently, but Emma's not listening. She stares down at her phone, refreshing her feed again and again. Every post, every tag, every story. It's everywhere. Screenshots of her face frozen mid-sneer beside headlines like, "Influencer insults black business mogul. Internet erupts." When arrogance meets grace. The woman who tried to shame Franklin Hayes. Her own name is trending, but not how she wanted. Somewhere between the rain and the whispers, she realizes she's not just losing face, she's losing access. Restaurants, brands, invitations. Her empire was built on image, and image bleeds faster than money. The manager returns to Franklin's booth. "Sir, the press is already outside," he says apologetically. "Would you like me to have them escorted away?" Franklin smiles faintly. "They'll get bored soon. I'm not giving them a quote." "Understood." He glances once more toward Emma. "Make sure she gets home safely," he says quietly. The manager blinks. "Of course, Mr. Hayes." When he's gone, Franklin returns to his conversation. He's back to discussing real estate and charity initiatives, as though the confrontation were just a passing weather report. But Emma hears it. The kindness, the mercy in that request. It feels like salt on a wound. She swallows hard, blinking fast. He's mocking me," she whispers. "No," Tessa says, shaking her head. "He's not." Emma stares down at her shaking hands. Her phone vibrates again. Another alert, another headline, another door closing somewhere in the city she used to own. The rain outside begins to thin. The thunder rolls away toward the river. The sky starts to lighten in the distance. But for Emma, everything's gone dark. She stands, shoulders squared, pride trembling on its last legs. She lifts her coat, slips it on, and walks toward the door. No one stops her. No one says goodbye. The hostess holds the door open, eyes low. Outside, cameras flash through the rain. She lifts her chin, blinded, smiling the mechanical smile of a woman who refuses to admit she's already fallen. She's still performing, even as the stage burns behind her. Inside, Franklin sips his wine and murmurs to his guest, "It's strange how people confuse attention with respect." His guest nods. "You handled it well." Franklin sets the glass down, eyes distant. "I didn't handle anything. The truth just took its time showing up." The waiter appears with the check, but Franklin waves it off. "Send it to my office." As Emma disappears into the wet blur of flashlights outside, the restaurant exhales collectively, like a fever breaking. The night goes quiet again, except for the whispers that will live on long after she's gone.
By morning, New York belongs to the story. Every phone, every television, every breakfast table hums with the same phrase, "You could never impress a woman like me." The line, replayed endlessly, has become an anthem for humiliation, not Franklin's, but hers. The video is everywhere. The restaurant's chandeliers, the marble floors, Emma's mocking voice, Franklin's calm reply. Every pause, every flicker of her arrogance, every quiet glance of his has been dissected by millions. Headlines scream, "Influencer Emma Dawes faces backlash after mocking investor Franklin Hayes." Forbes billionaire handles insult with grace. When silence speaks louder than power. Clips flood TikTok, slowed down for emphasis, with captions like, "Grace under fire," and "How to end a bully without saying a word." Her face, once the face of luxury and aspiration, is now the face of downfall. By noon, her phone is a graveyard of unread messages. Her brand partnerships vanish first, PR emails written in soft corporate pity. Then come the calls from sponsors, the apologies wrapped in formal detachment. "We value your previous work, but given the circumstances." Her manager finally reaches her. "Emma, they're freezing your contracts. Even Ventrell pulled the campaign. You're toxic right now." She paces her penthouse, eyes red, hair unwashed, the city she once ruled, framed behind the glass like a silent jury. "This can't be happening," she whispers. "It's a misunderstanding. I was joking." Her manager sighs. "The internet doesn't do context. You know that." She clings to her phone like a lifeline.
Her followers are turning. I used to love her confidence. Now it just looks cruel. He didn't even raise his voice. That's real power. She made a fool of herself. Emma shuts the screen off, but the silence is worse. Because silence now means she's not relevant. And irrelevance, for her, is death. Meanwhile, in the heart of Manhattan, Franklin sits in his office. Top floor, floor-to-ceiling windows, skyline washed clean by last night's storm.
He's reading the morning paper. His name, again, in bold print. He doesn't smile. His assistant, Elena, knocks softly. The board wants a statement. He shakes his head. We don't make statements about other people's mistakes. They're saying it's good PR. It's unnecessary. He folds the paper, sets it aside. I didn't win anything. She just lost control of her own mirror. Elena hesitates. You were remarkable last night. He looks out the window. No, I was tired. A pause. People think grace is easy. It isn't. She nods, understanding. The restaurant manager called. He said staff have been getting calls from press. I'll take care of it, Franklin says. No one there gets dragged into this. They were doing their jobs. Elena smiles faintly. You're a good man, Mr. Hayes. He doesn't respond. He's staring down at the city, the swirl of cabs and umbrellas, the glass and steel, the same city that once ignored him when he carried trays instead of business cards. It's strange, he thinks, how fast everything turns. One word, one look, one choice, and a whole life reroutes. That evening, Emma tries to walk into another restaurant, a smaller one this time, quiet, tucked in the West Village. The hostess recognizes her instantly. A nervous smile flickers. I'm sorry, Miss Dawes, but we're fully booked. Emma glances around. Half the tables are empty. Don't lie to me. I'm sorry, the hostess repeats, her voice small but firm. Emma's breath catches. Are you serious? The manager steps forward, polite, distant. We've had requests not to accommodate any filming or press-related visits tonight. Company policy. She stares at him, incredulous. You think I'm going to film? He doesn't answer. His silence is worse than rejection.
It's pity disguised as professionalism. She turns sharply, storming out into the night. The paparazzi flash from across the street. Emma, any comment about Franklin Hayes? She throws her coat over her face. Leave me alone. The rain starts again, thin and cold, like judgment returning for an encore. Across town, Franklin attends a private event, a charity gala for education grants. He's surrounded by quiet admiration, firm handshakes, unspoken respect. Everyone wants to meet the man who dismantled cruelty with silence. A journalist approaches. Mr. Hayes, everyone's talking about last night. The internet's calling you the gentleman of Mercer Street. Any thoughts? Franklin gives a small, polite smile. We live in loud times, he says. Sometimes quiet is the only way to be heard. The reporter grins. That's poetic. Thank you, sir. He nods and moves on, uninterested in fame. His focus is elsewhere, on the quiet purpose he built from nothing, on dignity, on remembering why he ever worked this hard in the first place. When he leaves the event, the night air smells of rain and exhaust and new beginnings. He walks alone for a while. No entourage, no cameras, just the rhythm of his shoes on wet pavement. At a stoplight, a group of young men recognize him. Mr. Hayes, one calls. That video, man, you were ice cold. Respect. Franklin chuckles softly. Appreciate it. But remember, calm isn't weakness, it's control. They nod like disciples. He keeps walking. Back in her apartment, Emma scrolls through the ruins of her empire. Brands gone, messages unanswered,
invitations rescinded. Her PR agent finally sends one last email. Subject, future collaborations. Body, at this time, we recommend a long-term social media hiatus. Rebranding is possible, but not in New York. She stares at the city lights outside her window, the same city that once bent around her whims. Now it looks indifferent. She whispers, "They'll forget. They always do." But she knows they won't, because the internet loves redemption, but it loves downfall even more. She glances at a headline one last time. Franklin Hayes, the man who turned insult into immortality. She laughs weakly. He didn't even do anything. And maybe that's what hurts most, that she destroyed herself and he didn't have to lift a finger. In the quiet hours before dawn, Franklin sits by his office window, lights low, the city a silver sprawl beneath him. He scrolls through messages, investors, journalists, congratulations, and ignores them all. Then a single text appears from an unknown number. "I'm sorry." He stares at it for a long time. No name, no need for one. He types back, "Be better next time." Then he locks the phone and leans back, eyes closed. Outside, the storm is gone. The sky is clearing, pale, forgiving, endless.
By the next week, New York has moved on, but not really. The city forgets fast, yet never fully. Some names simply become shorthand for something else. For Emma Dawes, that word is arrogance. For Franklin Hayes, it's grace. The restaurants are the first to act. Emails pass quietly between managers and PR teams. Please do not seat Emma Dawes. By the weekend, her face is on discreet do not admit lists from Midtown to the Upper East Side. No press release, no official ban, just a silent consensus, a collective closing of doors. One by one, her privileges dissolve. No more front row seats, no more brand deals, no more Ms. Dawes right this way. When she walks into a place now, people look up, not out of admiration, but out of recognition tinged with pity. And pity, she learns, is worse than hate. On a gray Thursday morning, Emma tries to enter the Monarch, her last refuge, her favorite haunt. She wears sunglasses, hair down, coat wrapped tight. Maybe, she hopes, they'll pretend not to know her. The hostess recognizes her anyway. A flicker of discomfort, then the same rehearsed apology Emma has heard everywhere. "I'm sorry, Miss Dawes, but the dining room is closed for a private event." Emma's throat tightens. "You said that last time." "It's true tonight as well." "Who's hosting?" Her voice trembles. The hostess glances at the reservation list, then hesitates. "Hayes Capital." Emma laughs once, bitter, broken. "Of course." The hostess lowers her gaze. "Please, Miss Dawes, don't make a scene." Emma's laugh dies in her throat. She nods stiffly, turns, and leaves. Outside, the air smells like snow.
Her breath fogs the glass door as it closes behind her. For the first time, she doesn't rush to her car. She just stands on the sidewalk, cold wind against her cheeks, watching the city blur around her. The world goes on, indifferent. All her noise, her live streams, her lessons, her followers, reduced to static. Inside the Monarch, Franklin sits at a long oak table surrounded by his team. He's not celebrating. He never does. He's finalizing a donation, a fund for hospitality students from underrepresented backgrounds, a quiet project that's been years in the making. "The paperwork's ready," Elena says, handing him a folder. "You're calling it the Hayes Grant?" He nods. "No one builds anything alone," he says simply. "Might as well open a few doors for someone else." A board member across the table chuckles, the irony given last week. Franklin raises an eyebrow. "No irony," he says, "just balance." They nod, and the meeting continues. No one mentions Emma by name. No one needs to. But outside, she stands in the cold, watching through the glass. Through the reflection, she sees him at the head of the table, calm, composed, unbothered. The way he was that night, the way she'll never be again. She turns away before anyone sees her. That night, Franklin walks home alone. The city glows wet beneath him, reflections of headlights trembling across puddles. He likes it this way. No drivers, no security, just the sound of his shoes on the pavement and the low hum of New York exhaling around him. He stops at a small diner, not fancy, not famous, just warm.
He orders black coffee and eggs, reads a newspaper, listens to strangers talk about sports and subway delays. He feels human here, invisible, but in the good way. The waitress, an older woman with tired eyes and a sharp smile, brings the check. "You're that man from the video, aren't you?" she asks softly. He sighs. "Afraid so." She chuckles. "You handled yourself well. My husband watched it 3 times, said it reminded him that silence can win a fight better than yelling." Franklin smiles. "He's right. You want a refill? On the house." He nods. "Please." As she pours, she says, "Not everyone would have stayed calm." "I wasn't calm," he admits. "I was just done being angry." She studies him for a moment, then pats his shoulder. "That's better than most folks ever get." Across town, Emma scrolls through her phone, desperate for distraction. Her followers are gone, her sponsors are silent, her agent has stopped returning calls. But the worst part isn't the hate, it's the quiet, the endless, hollow quiet. She types a message in her notes app. "We all say things we regret. We all deserve a second chance," then deletes it, because she knows that words, her favorite weapon, are useless now. The reflection in her darkened window stares back, perfect hair, flawless makeup, eyes red from crying. It looks like her, but smaller. A notification buzzes, a news update. Franklin Hayes establishes scholarship fund for underprivileged students. Below the headline is a photo of him smiling beside restaurant staff, the same faces she once dismissed as invisible. Emma presses the screen, zooms in on his expression. Calm, centered, grounded. She whispers, "He won." Then quieter, "No, he just never played." Weeks pass, the city shifts again. New scandals, new names, new noise. Franklin remains steady, his reputation only growing, his influence deepening. Yet he never talks about that night. When asked in interviews, he smiles politely. "We all have bad evenings," he says. "Some are just recorded." He declines every invitation to speak publicly about Emma, every brand offer to capitalize on the viral moment. His only statement is the quiet work he continues doing. New restaurants with fair pay, mentorship programs, community kitchens. To some, it seems saintly. To him, it's maintenance, cleaning up the same city that once tried to shrink him. Spring arrives early. The streets bloom with color. The rain smells sweeter now. At the Monarch, a hostess greets a couple at the door. The man glances around, nervous. "This place is famous now," he says. "Wasn't there some big story?" The hostess smiles. "People say things," she replies, "but that was a long time ago." She leads them to a booth, the corner one, where it all began. The table gleams beneath the soft light. No trace of what happened remains. That night, Franklin walks past the same window, jacket slung over his arm. The restaurant hums softly inside, alive, balanced, unbroken. He pauses for a moment, watching through the glass, not with nostalgia, but with closure. Across the street, a woman sits alone at a cafe, scrolling her phone. For just a second, she looks up. Their eyes meet through the traffic, through glass and neon and memory. She looks away first. Franklin smiles faintly.
then turns the corner and disappears into the city. No audience, no spotlight, just rain light on his shoulders and the quiet dignity of a man who doesn't need to win to stand tall.